Okay, children, this is the second unit or the second competency for grade 10, unit 8, characteristics of living organisms. In lower grades like grade 6, 7, you learn some of the living characteristics of organisms like growth, reproduction, nutrition. This is a continuation of that lesson, and you are learning about some of the important characteristics of living organisms. Out of the number of characteristics, we are learning 8 common characteristics of living organisms: cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, irritability and coordination, excretion, movement, reproduction, growth and development. Uh, at first, you are learning about cellular organization. It is one of the important characteristics of living organisms. You know, uh, there are two categories of organisms as unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. If you think of the unicellular organisms, their bodies are made up of only one cell. The cell contains a number of cellular organelles enclosed by a plasma membrane, and inner to that it has cytoplasm and organelles. But if you consider the multicellular organisms, the bodies are made up of a number of cells organized together. The basic facts you should know is the structure of unicellular organism is made up of cytoplasm and organelles enclosed by the plasma membrane. The bodies of multicellular organisms are made up of number of such cells organized together. What you see here is various kinds of organelles in any kind of cells, a typical cell like. On the screen you see some of the unicellular organisms commonly seen. The first diagram, the Chlamydomonas, Euglena, amoeba, and paramecium. These are some of the examples you have learned in lower grades as well. If you think of the multicellular organisms, the basic unit, the structural unit of the bodies of organisms is cell, and number of cells organized to perform a specific task we call it as a tissue. The cells organize and form tissues, and number of tissues organized together to form organs, and number of organs organized to perform series of activities in the body known as system. These are the different levels of organization of a multicellular organism. Cell is the basic level, then tissue, organ system. Cell, tissue, organ systems. By number of organ systems, your body is made up of organisms. Here you see different kinds of cells: muscle cell, nerve cell or a neuron, epithelial cell, connective cell. By the muscular cells or the muscle cells, it forms the muscle tissue. By nerve cells, it forms the nerve tissue, and epithelial cells, epithelial tissue, and connective cell, connective tissue. By joining number of tissues like this, the muscle tissue, nervous tissue, epithelial tissue, connective tissue, it has formed an organ, here the kidney. Organ is formed by organizing number of tissues together. Then by organizing number of organs like two kidneys, ureters, and urinary bladder and urethra. It forms a system here, a urinary system. The urinary system. It is one of the systems in your body. By organizing all the systems in your body, it forms the organism. Here is organism. Uh, the body consists of number of such systems. What you need to learn here is in multicellular organisms, there are different levels of organization. Cell, tissue, organ, organ system, and organism. This is one of the systems in your body. It alone cannot act as the whole organism. It is only a system, the skeletal system. And here the skeletal system and the muscular system, it is not the whole organism. And when all the 10 systems in your body working together, it is an organism. When you consider the origin of multicellular organisms, the origin of multicellular organisms occurs with a single cell. Your life started with a single cell called zygote. Then the zygote divided and formed two cells, then it divided and formed 4 cells, 8 cells. Likewise, the number of cells increased by multiplication, by cell division, by mitosis. In the previous lesson, Unit 6, you learned about two kinds of cell division, meiosis and mitosis. In organisms, the number of cells increase by mitosis, the cell division. Not only in the animals, even in the plants, the whole plant structure is made up of cells organized as tissues, organs, and organ systems. If you consider a plant, it has two systems as the root system and a shoot system. In both the root system and shoot system, there are a number of cells and tissues. If you consider the shoot system, one such tissue is phloem tissue, another one xylem tissue. The organs of the shoot system, the leaf is an organ, flower is an organ, is a reproductive organ of the flower plant, and such organs are found in plants. Both animals and plants bodies have cellular organization, cell, tissue, organ system, and organism. The bodies of multicellular organisms are composed of different types of cells, and these different types of cells are organized as tissues and organs, then the organism. Here you see human body consists of different kinds of cells: muscle cells, blood cells, bone cells, nerve cells. Then they are forming the tissues, nerve tissue, bone tissues, blood tissue, muscle tissue. Then various organs like kidney, the liver, your stomach, the skin, then the various kinds of systems in your body and the whole organism. Dear children, a multicellular organism possesses tissues and systems level organization. What you learn is one of the very important characteristic common to all living organisms, the cellular organization. The second important characteristic of living organism is nutrition. All the organisms need energy for their movements and all the activities for the maintenance of life. The required energy is gained uh, by their nutrition from the food stuff they take, or the nutrients they absorb from the root system in the case of plants. The process by which energy and the materials are obtained for the maintenance of life is known as nutrition. Why the animals and plants need energy? Energy is needed for maintaining all the living activities. For maintaining all the living activities, energy is needed. That energy is obtained from nutrients. Some of the organisms uh, produce their own food for their nutrition by themselves, especially the plants. They are known as autotrophic organisms, the organisms that produce their own food or own nutrition are known as autotrophic organisms. And the other organisms who depend on the plant directly or indirectly are known as heterotrophic. Animals are heterotrophic, the plants are autotrophic. Uh, Mainly, the autotrophic organisms produce their food by the process of photosynthesis. Production of food inside the chloroplast of the plant cells using chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. Production of food inside the chloroplast of plant cells using chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. For the process of photosynthesis, it is needed some external factors like sunlight, carbon dioxide, water. And by the process of photosynthesis produce glucose and oxygen. You can write the photosynthesis uh, process by a word equation like this: carbon dioxide plus water produces glucose and oxygen. By utilizing sunlight as a source of energy, and the process takes place in chlorophyll. Carbon dioxide plus water, sunlight and chlorophyll, glucose plus oxygen. With the word equation photosynthesis, it is important to know for your exam purposes. It can be written by a symbolic equation: carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll, glucose and oxygen. To make the number of atoms in both sides equal, you have to put 6 here, 6 and 6. Now the number of atoms in both sides, the reactants and the products are the same. The children, the food produced by the autotrophs flows to the other organism, the heterotrophs, through the food webs. The food web shows how the nutrients and the energy flows through the ecosystem. When the autotrophs produce energy by the process of photosynthesis, it gains energy from the sun. Then when the herbivores or the primary consumers depend on autotrophs, they get the energy. That energy is flown to the secondary level of consumers, then tertiary level and quaternary level, so on. Energy flows to food web. Food web shows how the energy and the nutrients flows through the ecosystem. The children, what you see on the screen is the process of photosynthesis we discussed before 2-3 minutes back. For the process of photosynthesis in green plants, carbon dioxide is absorbed from the atmosphere, water is absorbed from the soil through the root system, then the chlorophyll in the green plant produce carbohydrates, that means glucose and oxygen. We learn two important characteristics of living organisms. First, the cellular organization. Second, nutrition. The third important living characteristic of organism is respiration. When you hear the term respiration, you just think that it is breathing and breathe out. Not, it is not that. Respiration is the process of uh, transforming stored food containing energy. Process of transforming energy containing the stored food into a usable form. You know, your food matter contain energy. Your food matter contain energy. They are not in a usable form at once. It should be converted into a usable form in your body. That process is called cellular respiration. It happens in the cells. For the exam purposes, you must know the definition of respiration. The process by which the stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells is called cellular respiration. Stored food contain energy that is converted into another kind of energy that can be used. The stored food contain chemical energy that is converted into another form of chemical energy that can be used. That is cellular respiration. The process by which stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells is known as cellular respiration. You can write the cellular respiration by an equation like this. Glucose plus oxygen forms energy. That is what we expect to get. Apart from that, it produces carbon dioxide and water as byproducts. Glucose plus oxygen produce energy, carbon dioxide and water. These carbon dioxide and water are released out of your body. Glucose plus oxygen, carbon dioxide, water and energy. This energy is stored in your body as ATP or adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Whenever you need energy, this ATP releases energy for your day-to-day work. From your lower grades, you thought that the respiration is breathing in and breathing out, and it is happening inside your lungs like. It is not the respiration. It is uh, an important process helpful for the cellular respiration. In inspiration, what happens is you take the oxygen required for cellular respiration. At the expiration, exhaling, you are removing the carbon dioxide and water produced by the cellular respiration. Right? Inspiration and expiration are needed. Inspiration needed to get oxygen, and expiration is needed to release the carbon dioxide and water produced by cellular respiration. While the cellular respiration takes place within the cells, the oxygen you take into the lungs are carried to the cells through your blood. The carbon dioxide and water produced by cellular respiration within the cells are carried back to the lungs through the blood, and then it is released out of your body through your nose. Some organisms show the respiratory movements. The human beings, the fish, the dog, you might have seen, they show the respiratory movements. But some organisms do not show any respiratory movements like this. Plants also respirate, but you can't see the movements in plants when the respiration occurs. Dear children, in the next part of the lesson, you are learning about some of the important experiments show uh, that carbon dioxide is produced by respiration of organisms. In my next video, I hope to discuss these simple activities and uh, watch the video again and get the concepts and some of the characteristics of living organisms we discuss: cellular organization, nutrition, and respiration. Goodbye, children.